In this video, I will be describing Naomi Nye's War for the Future, We Thirsted, which basically it depicts a society that is suffering from physical and moral thirst, and how the physical and moral thirst that they are facing leads into a problem of pollution. And throughout the poem, she alludes to this pollution, and it sort of just gets to the central theme of how human greed and the neglect that follows human greed causes this big issue. And she uses imagery and reflective tone to bring this problem to light for the reader and make it easy to understand. For example, in the first stanza, stripped of our sense of well being, we downed our water from small disposable bottles, casting the plastic to the street side. Straws, plastic cups, crushed cans in a 3 block walk, you can feel the sack. And then the second stanza, a use of imagery and reflective tone is being shown when Nye states, who do we imagine would pick them up? What do we really know of plastic spirals in the sea bigger than whole countries? So to me, just while I was reading that, for example, going back to the first stanza, I was able to really see that because it is a simple use of imagery and the words aren't super confusing. You can picture someone being so thirsty that they down a bottle of water and throw it to the street. And because of their greed, they're going to go find a can of Coke. She describes how we poured high potency energy tonics and Coke down our throats because this time in history had sapped us so thoroughly and we were so desperate. That desperation, that greed, that need for more just neglected everything else that came after. And then in the final stanza, it sort of shows the problems that arises from this neglect because at the end of stanza 2 she sort of compares pollution to wars. She says, discarding what we did in as in wars, whole cities and nations crumpled after our tanks and big guns pulled out. So she's comparing how pollution and war sort of work hand in hand, that if we just continue pollution it's going to crumple nations and stuff like that just through pollution, just how war does. And in the final stanza, she lays out a neighborhood that is sad, like how houses have eyes, noses, and mouths, and we can see everyday activities like a man walking his dog as a dog helplessly looks for water. And that comes from what we did polluting the world. Now the dog doesn't have the water that it needs, and that's why I think this poem is so interesting because it's such simple use of imagery and tone to convey a message to the reader of, hey, this is a big problem. Like, we need to give the same attention to this as we do wars on a much larger scale. And because of that, that's why I think it's so important to read. Is that, like I said, it's just the usage of imagery and tone, it acts as a self-reflection tool. It makes the reader take a step back and be like, "Oh man, what else can I do to sort of fix this problem?" And sort of urges the reader to hopefully spread the word of, "Hey, we need to take this situation more seriously."